Hi there, Zam here for NerdTube. This is my thoughts and spoilers of episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. That is the Book of Mandalorian, and this is the Return of the Mandalorian. And that Freudian slip had a purpose because this was a Mandalorian-centric episode. This episode wasn't just Mandalorian coming to pay Boba Fett a visit. This was a Mandalorian episode. I actually forgot that I was watching the Book of Boba Fett, and it felt like I was watching the Mandalorian series instead. And this was a fantastic episode. For some, this would probably be the best episode of the series so far. We follow Mandalorian post Grogu, and he is now back to his bounty hunting ways. He has a Darksaber with him, of course. We see him in this butcher's shop, and he's looking to collect on a bounty, and he does some slicing and dicing in this butcher shop. I think being in the butcher shop kind of tells you that this is what's going to happen. He's going to hack and slash, slice and dice, cut people up, and he does that. And once again, you always get surprised with Disney when they go there, because it's Disney. Initially, I didn't think they were going to go there. You know, sometimes when you see in cartoons and certain television shows and films where they've got a weapon that can cut you open, but somehow they're kicking and punching and elbowing instead. Initially, that's what Mandalorian was doing, but then finally he's slicing and dicing and stabbing and cutting people up and stuff like that. And after he kills his bounty, because he can bring him in warm or bring him in cold, he takes the fucker's head off and then tells all the employees of that butcher shop, who are probably being underpaid and overworked, that yes, go take all these credits. And where we are as well with the Mandalorian is on this sort of ring in space, this giant halo ring, so to speak. And it's kind of grimy, it's full of gangsters and stuff like that. It's also very beautiful looking as well. Very unique setting for Star Wars. I very much appreciate it. You can see Star Wars are taking elements from other forms of sci-fi and other forms of media, so to speak. We've had cyberpunk now, more involved in Star Wars than ever, and now we've got maybe a bit of the Halo video game a little bit involved into, as well as other forms of science fiction we've seen in the past in other films, used to make this sort of world in space. And Mando basically wants to get information after delivering his bounty, and he gets that information and goes to visit the other Mandalorians, which are now hiding on this space ring. And this is where we have a moment to understand a little bit more about what's going on with the Mandalorian. There's only a couple of people left of the original Mandalorian clan. It's Mando himself, the Mandalorian, which is voiced by Jon Favreau, and of course the Armor Smith. There's only 3 of them left. Everyone else is either dead or dispersed somewhere else. Who knows? But this is where they're hiding out now. And Mando has the Darksaber, of course, and the other Mandalorian, voiced by Jon Favreau, he wants that Darksaber because his bloodline is the one that created that Darksaber. So they have a fight, and eventually Mandalorian wins, and then he confesses that he's also taken off his helmet, which makes him exiled from this particular Mandalorian contingent, which is only a couple of people anyway, but nevertheless he's exiled from them. He ends up going to Tatooine, and he meets Amy Sedaris' character, the mechanic, and he's looking to pick up a ship from there. And it's the old school ship we saw from the Phantom Menace, the one Anakin Skywalker flew, the Nabooian ship, so to speak. And yes, this ship gets a Pimp My Ride makeover, a more modern take on it as well. It gets more silverized as well to give that Mandalorian look to it. And I'm not sure how I feel about this ship, because the Razor Crest was, to a degree, like a cargo ship. It could carry more than one person, and it can carry lots of other shit too. Fuck, it has a toilet in it, for Christ's sake. How's Mando going to be shitting and pissing in space without one of those? But nevertheless, we've got this new ship now. It's faster, it's lighter, it's got all these bits and bobs to it as well. And he flies it around. We see some X-Wing fighters as well, who are now like space cops and stuff like that. And one of them recognizes the Mandalorian and starts asking him some questions, and Mandalorian shoots off as well. It was some really good moments, by the way. But as we progressed through this story with Mandalorian from start to pretty much finish, I kind of realized maybe a quarter of the way through that probably the introduction of Boba Fett or Fennec Shand or whoever, when these guys meet up, will probably come at the end of this episode. I don't want to forget certain things as well. Mandalorian, he gets rid of his Beskar spear because the armor smith tells him that the that Beskar is used for defense, not for attacking purposes, and this Beskar spear could pierce Beskar armor. So she tells him to get rid of it. So he forges the spear into armor for Grogu because he expects to see Grogu again, and then the Beskar armor gets put into this little pouch, and when the pouch is tied up into a knot, it looks like a little Grogu's head, and that was intentional for sure. And Mandalorian, he wants to see Grogu again, and after meeting up with Fennec Shand at the end of this episode, who now hires him as muscle, he says, yes, no problem, I'll happily work for you, but I've got to see a little friend first. So that obviously means Grogu, so he's going to probably leave there and go back. I'm sure this is somehow going to intertwine with season 3 of The Mandalorian as well, but I don't know how this is going to work in the future. So is he just going to go back and then maybe come back at the end of the season, like in the last episode, and save the day by flying around or some shit like that? Bit confusing, to tell you the truth. But he's going to work for Boba Fett for free. He is the hired muscle. He's not there to collect a bounty. He's just there to basically be a presence, so to speak. And now with Mandalorian and Black Krrsantan and Gamorrean guards and the Cyberpunk kids, it looks like and as well as Fennec Shand, of course. It looks like it looks like Boba Fett's familia is definitely growing, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing where we go with this in the future. I mean, I'm always looking forward to where we go with this in the future. I can't wait for the next episode. It's going to be fascinating to see. And also it's going to be fascinating to see what's going to be happening with Mando. He has revealed that he has taken off his helmet, and his old school Mandalorian clan wants nothing to do with him. But other types of Mandalorians don't give a shit about taking off their helmets. He still wields the Darksaber, so he theoretically is the ruler of Mandalore. He understood the rules of Mandalore, or the Darksaber, that is, regarding how you own it and what happens to the person who wields it. They also corrected some, or they retconned some issues regarding Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars series, where she was given the lightsaber, and that was mentioned, briefly by the armor smith as well, who tried to make us understand that that's not the way. The way, or this is the way, is to fucking earn the Darksaber through combat. So many things here. I liked it. This was a great episode. Repaired some of the lore, focused solely on Mandalorian, which I'm not sure how I feel about that, because even though we love the Mandalorian, this is the book of Boba Fett, not the Mandalorian, and it would have been nice if Mandalorian did his Mandalorian thing early in this episode by collecting his bounty, gets a phone call from Boba, says, yeah, I need your ass over here, and he goes there and visits him, and then they're all together, so to speak. In a way, I would have possibly preferred that, because I don't want this fantastic character of the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, to steal the light from Boba Fett on his own show, even though I thoroughly enjoyed what I got today. It was fantastic. Anyway, let me know what you think. Book of Boba Fett episode 5, Return of the Mandalorian. Did you like this episode as much as I did? And if you've got some complaints as well, let me know. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care. Bye-bye.